Greetings Captains, Gunship here. Hope you're doing well. Today we have an interesting subject to talk about: how to win naval battles. So would you like to have a score sheet a bit like this? 10 wins in a row? Sounds good? It's pretty good for your silver lines balance as well. So let's talk about what I hear quite often from players when they don't win. I got up tier, the teams were unbalanced, I was playing in a stock ship, my team was terrible, or I was just unlucky. Well, hang on a minute. Let's talk a little bit about luck. So what is it being lucky? Well, it could also be defined as good preparation meeting opportunity. And let me try and explain a little bit about that. So what does good preparation look like? Well, first of all, you need a good lineup. So for naval, it's 3 blue water ships at a specific BR. Now, in the battles that you're going to see soon, it's all done in 4.7, and I use the British lineup, as you can see down below. I did have the Tobruk not spaded. I actually worked on upgrading the ship and get modules for it as we played the games. But as soon as you have basic fire protection and repair kit, you are pretty much good to go. Now, you need 1 or 2 coastal boats to support difficult areas for larger ship. There's always some on most maps. And again, you need 1 or 2 planes. Choose different types because that helps with the spawn point. So have a bomber, strike fighter, or a fighter in your lineup so you can swap between. You want to expert the crews. That's important. There is a certain element of RNG in the game, and you can highly influence that by having a good crew and expert crews within them. So make sure you do that. Last but not least, get a support network. It's called a squadron. And I make sure it got active players in it that enjoys naval, like iNavy. If you want to, join us. We are quite happy to play with players that are not in iNavy at any time. I will leave a link in the description below for our Discord server. Which leads on to the next one. Beyond voice communications. It's important that you can talk to the people you play with. And if you do happen to be in a noisy environment, kids in the background or other people talking, well, then just use push to talk. So this is how you create the opportunity part of luck. First, you need a bit of time on your hand, at least half an hour, preferably longer than that. Make sure you get a full squad of 4 together. If you're only a single player, you're only 1 out of 16, you have a lot less chance of impacting the battle than if you're 4 players, and therefore you're 25% of the team. Makes a big difference. Focus on being a team player. Agree on a battle rating and stick to it. It's no good if one battle is 3.7, the next is 5.0, and then 6.0, because you don't learn the mistakes from the battle before and have a chance of implementing in the next one. Maturity helps. Keep your cool. Lose a ship very quickly? Well, don't throw all your toys out of the pram. Do better with the next one and help along. Common goal. Target and tactical information is key. Make sure that is a priority for your communication. The fun and chat is good too, but that is sort of secondary. So make sure you get the balance right. And if you've got other people having to be noisy in your channel, then tell them to quiet down a little bit and maybe move to a different channel if required. And step up if direction is needed. Sometimes objectives fall natural into play, especially with players that have played for a long time. If it doesn't happen, then call it out. Say, let's go and attack the sea point. Let the other players on your team that can't hear you know as well. Use some of the in-game tools to say, attack C point or whatever it might be. It really helps. And use it in-game tool as well to show who you're shooting on next. So looking at this is all about focusing fire. If we have theoretically 4 ships of equal capability on each side here, the blue fleet versus the red, if the blue team focus fire on 1 ship at a time, they will win the engagement as a result of lowering the combined firepower of the other team over time. I'm now going to show you a series of battles taken at 4 times normal speed. And I want you to pay attention to our map movement. As you can see here, we are moving in on objective A and B, because you just need 2 objectives and hold them in order to win. So after having taken A, we try our best in our smaller ships to come out and support Island B as well. And yes, you can see that I died and respawned in the Tobruk. Now we were lucky that our team managed to take C, and that's great. You have to have a little bit of help from them. But our focus was mainly on securing A and B. Now the enemy team are clearly focusing on trying to get to B and C. And as you can see, they might just well succeed in getting the C point. Now if you haven't noticed by now, then pay attention to the fact that the enemy fleet has at no point actually made any inroads into the B point. They took C and sort of just hold back and thought that that was okay. We now have one person or a couple of persons trying to get hold of the A point, and we need to deal with those. See, Daft here spawns in a boat, and he may or may not be successful in trying to take the A point. In the meantime, we have a Nuremberg on our side that moves out and help try to take the C point. The battle ends with us taking the C point. Let's move on to the next one. South Africa, interesting and fun map. A lot of the main points here is really about holding the A and B point again. Lucky if somebody goes out and takes a C point. What's interesting about the A point is that the islands around it are generally quite flat, so it's quite an open area and it's highly contested. And as you can see, the enemy fleet do indeed push a lot of ships down towards it. Now notice the island that I'm stopping at. I'll mark it on the map. It provides good cover and it allows you to focus fire on maybe one or two ships at a time without the rest of the ships being able to attack you. So the tactics here is really to just hold the enemy fleet off from cover, and then a little bit later go in and attack the A point and take it. Now I'm still holding off to go in and take the A point for the time being, just waiting for our other guys that died early to support up and come into the battle here. So Darth Wolf is in a heavy cruiser, 4.7 cargo, there you go, useful ship. So he will try and push forward and help. In the meantime, we are still holding roughly behind that center defensive island at the bottom here. The enemy is trying to get in the torpedo boats, and we were lucky that one of our team members took the B point, so that is great for us. Now we're going to try and push now for the A point. We think that we got an advantage, so we're pushing all together rather than just, you know, one at a time, because then we'll just like die in ducks in a row. And one of our friendly fleets here, I think in a VS-10, shoots up and takes the A point before our destroyers can actually get there. So now we are in a commanding position on the map. We have the A and the B point. The enemy team have roughly lost half their tickets at this point here, and we can't just to stay and essentially dominate the map from here. Now I do push forward. I happen to be in the Tobruk, which is very good at sort of bow tanking a little bit because all the guns are in front. And as you can see, I have a massive amount of ships in front of me, so you know, I won't last that long. But I buy us some time, and it's time that makes the tickets go down. Now we also got the C point, so we are lucky with that. But even if we just hold on to A and B, that would essentially be enough to get to a winning combination. At this point here, the battle is practically over, so I will move on to the next one. So here we are on New Zealand Cape. First of all, we have redirected Stain in a missile boat, Sparrow, to go to B rather than A, because we noticed there was a lot of destroyers coming down that way, and he would probably surely be toasted by them had he stayed over by A. I managed to fire off a load of torpedoes from the Tobruk, but I am primaried by the enemy fleet, and I do go down as a result. Now we do keep pushing up and trying our best to maintain attack on basically A and B. Now we do have Darth Wolf out near C because he spawned in the cargo, so he couldn't spawn as close as the rest of us. As you can see, the enemy fleet are trying to get to the A point, but we managed to hold them off at range. But again, as you can see, they are stationary. They are not moving very much indeed, and our fleet is having a constant flow towards the enemy fleet, and that's ultimately why we keep having the B point. There's a lot of crossfire going on, trying to shoot whatever is trying to get close to B at the moment from where I am in my destroyer. And Jeppe is doing a sterling job in the SKR-7, and indeed trying to get down to the A point and see if he can take that as well, because that will aid us. And we'll see here shortly if he actually succeed. I can't remember. No, he did succumb and didn't quite make it. But we have reinforced him with another 3 or 4 ships. As you can see, the torpedoes is sort of running in front of us, and we will take the A point. And this point in the battle, A and B is taken. We got map control as well as we can, and the enemy fleet has only very few tickets left, hiding behind islands, etc. But that's no good. That's not gonna win the battle. On this map, C and B is primary objectives, and we are zooming along trying to help Stain as he's in the torpedo boat in front of us. Now you may have noticed, but just to spell it out, I don't think we had a single battle where we were not up-tiered in one way or another, either to 5.0, 5.3 or 5.7 indeed. But you will always have a few people on your side as well that has better ships, so it sort of equals out pretty much. And now, as you can see here, we are trying our best to take C and B. Again, Stain does a grand job in the torpedo boat of doing that. And again, the enemy fleet seems to be a little bit stagnant, although they are pushing forward. It's probably not that visible, but we are trying to focus fire where we can and help each other out. Again, that does help enormously. As you will see, the enemy does manage to push the way forward and take the C point here, but we are still in control of B, and we are managing to take the A point as well. Not our squadrons doing, but we can rely a little bit of our teammates now and then. It's very curious that the enemy don't seem to actually take B, although they have a lot of ships out there. We just try and hold them away from a distance to actually get to it, but they could have taken it from the back. Still like 4 ships in a row here. You can see we are doing our best to force our way into C, while we are lucky that our fleet is maintaining A as well as helping us holding on to B. Managed to take C back just in the dying moment of the match, and again, that is all she wrote. The Andaman Sea is a great map, especially for coastal boats, and as you can see here, I managed to dispatch of 3 or 4 ships quite early on. I'm lucky to survive. I tried to use the island just in front of me as cover. As you can see, I got torpedoes coming in on either side. Now I do get killed and shot down, but as we haven't managed to get control of this yet, I spawn in a backup ship and try and see if I can capture it again. I don't quite manage to do so. I have a fight with a 205, and although I kill him first, he he managed to explode me just after. Now you will see up in the top left that our fleet of destroyers are coming in, and Petro here is doing what he should do, which is forcing him straight through and straight into the A and B area. I also have a little hunt with my Typhoon and managed to kill a plane and managed to crash spectacular afterwards, but job's a good one. Now look on the enemy fleet, how stagnant they are. They are no longer trying to force their way in. We basically gain map control. Petro is capturing A here together with a friendly boat, and there's another friendly boat that will shoot out to B in just a minute and take care of that. We managed to take C as well. This is an absolute bonus, but this is pretty much the end of the game. You can see the red bar is already moving down rapidly, and we basically are holding the enemy off until the end. We're now at the end of the battle, and as you can see we have about 6 friendly ships at the A and B area, complete map domination, and the tickets are just running out, and that was all she wrote. So this is the final battle I'm gonna show you. It's different because it's an encounter rather than domination, so there's no A, B and C point to take care of. Main objective here is not really the enemy fleet. Well, it's the enemy AI fleet that we're most interested in. We need to kill as many cargo ships as you possibly can while maintaining reasonable control of the map. Now we're in a full up tier, so we do the best we can with most of our destroyers, and that is to get in between the islands and do as much harassment as we can, launch some torpedoes, etc. As you can see, I'm just doing there. I'm trying to stay out of trouble while still providing enemy fire. Now the enemy does have put a few ships into that alcove, and you can see staying there is shooting at them. There's a number of smaller ships, and as I come around here in my destroyer, I am confronting them. Now I do manage to do a good job on most of them, but as you will see a little bit later on, one of them is quite sneaky and comes in behind me as I'm engaged with targets further forward and managed to kill me. If you look at the map again, you can see we got more map control than we really ought to have, and the enemy is sort of spread around and out in the open sea, but that's of less use. And here you can see I get a surmise. I get killed by a torpedo that comes in behind me, and I'll probably take a turn to the left, which I shouldn't have done. But look now, we got a cargo heavy cruiser 4.7 all the way up next to their 5.7 cruiser, and we try and support the best we can with planes as well. I moved us on to near the end of the battle, and we're still having map control, although we shouldn't have. They're finally pushing a heavy cruiser forward and managed to bomb it, like Darth Wolf in his B7A2 is doing a grand job and doing the right thing, as most planes actually should do. And that is not just to ditch themselves after the first attack. He is going back to base to pick up I think another torpedo that will be of good use a bit later on. Now the enemy has managed to shoot some of our cargo ships, but as you can see in the score again, there's only very few red tickets left, and we are trying our very hardest to kill off the heavy cruisers from the enemy side. I think one actually succumbed to a torpedo just there. So to sum it all up, you can play as a team up-tiered, even with ships that are not fully spaded, but a good crew is important, a good team, a good squad is even more important, and you can win battles because you can impact the gameplay. So remember that: expert crew, good team, voice comms, and don't despair. Just go on, and fight the battle and push the objectives. You won't necessarily win every time, but you will have made a difference. And that's far better, that you can see from all these battles here, where the enemy has just been staying back. Hasn't helped them, has it? We won 10 games in a row, up-tiered every time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, then please put a thumbs up. That would be great. That would help me to be discovered by others, apparently. And any comments, please put them down below. I do read them all, and I also reply to most of them. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye for now.